What's good, y'all? I'm Nick,
I'm Lawrence.
and we just saw Chevalier. Before we say what's real, please like, comment, and subscribe. Kick it off.
So, listen, one of the most underrated movies of the year, I think by far, is going to be this movie. I think this movie was, from top to bottom, it's very good. You know what I mean? Not many complaints about this one at all. I have thoroughly enjoyed this watch. It was a fun watch. Honestly, plot-wise, right? It's basically that story of a black man who excels in what he does. He was very, very talented playing the violin. He had a way with his words. He also was good at fencing, which got him to become a Chevalier. Basically, it was like a Medal of Honor for France, and he was highly respected by the Queen, Queen Mary Antoinette, and he was respected really by a lot of people. But at the end of the day, he was still a black man, and he found that out by being a black man, how hard it was back then. This movie also took place during the French Revolution, so it took place in 1749. I think that was the present day of the movie, and I really think that was really what it came down to, is that if he was white, he would have gotten everything he wanted.
Exactly.
But what you thought?
A few things about the movie. Kelvin Harrison.
Yes.
I've never seen any of his work, and I was thoroughly impressed how his acting was in this movie. The character needed confidence, and man, he stepped into that role, and I really enjoyed that part of it. Me not being too big into opera and stuff like that, the music in this movie is fantastic. I loved all the music. I think it's one of the things that will go underrated because, it's, I don't want to say low budget, but it wasn't really a sought after movie for the masses.
They did not advertise this movie at all.
It's definitely a hidden gem.
Very hidden gem.
I really enjoyed that. There are a few things I don't like. The pacing was a little off. And I say there's a part where he meets his, what's her name? I don't want to mess her name up. The mistress. Because the names in the movie is, you're going to struggle with getting to know the names. The only person you need to know is Joseph, and that's more important.
The Queen, Mary Antoinette.
And the Queen.
Yeah.
But the young lady he was sleeping with,
yes.
At one point it was 6 months. It was like 6 months later, and she's expecting. I'm like, cool, whatever. And then the next day she was having a baby. They didn't pace it. I'm like, okay, give us like 3 more months later or some time later. It just kind of sent like the same day, because he's engulfing himself in his black culture as he should, which I was very happy about that part of the movie. But
very quick part though.
Yes, he dove into it, and he was running through the hallway with a little kid, and next thing you know, the baby's born. I'm like, they could have. So was he hanging out with them for a few months, or was this like a one-off?
I think what happened was, and I could be wrong, but I think what happened was that, remember when after he met with her, he was back to his house and he was drinking and his mom came. I think right then is when they probably should have put it, but I'm guessing that there was a time in between. They just never put that time in between. I'm guessing that probably was that 3-month timetable.
Okay. So, but that's something minor. It's not a big deal to me. Other than that, like you said, I feel like this movie is going to be very underrated. There were some funny parts for sure, but there's also some parts that just made you feel for him as a black man. We both are black men, so we're watching it from a different lens. And I just can't imagine being in his shoes, because he was so confident in a room full of white people that it was just like, I'm thinking he should probably get killed, honestly. If he was anywhere else, he probably would have been killed for a lot of the things that he was dealing with. But I loved it. I love how his character was just bold and confident, because we need that as black men. We need that as black people. So,
but yeah, his dad told him to be an excellent Frenchman. I really thought like that was a big part. Even though his dad was white and he kind of like disowned him, he still helped him in a way, right?
I didn't see it as a disownment. Well, yes, he did leave him behind.
It's like a disownment though, because he didn't let his mom be with him, and then he kept the mom away. And the only reason the mom got free is because he died, bruh. He died, bruh.
Kept the mom. Also set him up for success to be in the position that he's in.
He only set him up because of how talented he was. If he wasn't talented at anything,
facts.
He probably would have been dead. And I'll let you talk about what happened to Joseph's father. I mean, happened to Joseph's son.
So this part of the movie is very, like, sad. So Joseph gets the young lady he's been sleeping with pregnant.
The mistress.
And a part of that, honestly, when the husband found out that she was pregnant, he should have assumed it wasn't his. And when he seen that the baby wasn't his, he killed the baby. But why did he stop there? I would have killed Joseph. He already spared him his hands during the movie. Said, hey, you know, for disrespecting me, for going behind my back, having my wife sing for you, you know, we're gonna break your hands. And she's like, no.
That was probably the only scene that I thought was unrealistic in the whole movie. I thought the whole movie did great until then. That made no sense. When you can look into her eyes and see how much she's crying over this man, you know what's been going on. She been getting her cheeks clapped by Joseph.
That's why I was so blowed. And he spared him. So,
and the scene with him at the end, just pointing the gun at Joseph. This man, bro.
But anyway, so you would think, okay, he killed the baby, that was sad. But I'm thinking when the old girl's coming up, she's like, hey, the baby was born, run. I'm thinking, oh, she's about to tell him to run. And he felt it was no sense of, I need to get out of here because this dude's gonna get me. Because if that was my wife and she had a baby with somebody else, I'm not just killing the baby, I'm killing him too. Like, that's why I'm just like, they spared him.
I think because they killed the baby, they knew that was gonna hurt him as much as anything else could hurt him. Losing your child, it hurts more than anything else in the world. And I hope that me and you and nobody has to experience anything like that, because we saw how he was crying in his mother's arms.
Yeah, he was.
He was hurt. He was hurt, and that really was the falling action of the movie, right? Like, that really basically boosted him up to make that beautiful, beautiful symphony that he did.
It was fantastic.
Fantastic. And I also got to talk about something that you love to talk about. I thought the clothing back then, the dressing was on point, right? They all dressed so well to me. They really kept it the way it should have been. Like, there was no kind of anything, you know, modern, anything. It was like, this really did seem like it was back in the 1750s. And like, sitting back watching it, I was like, wow, like, I'm really feeling the queen. I really liked her dress game. And I was really messing with Joseph's dress game. Like, every time he had something else that was like suave a little bit, would I put it on? No, but for him, it looked good.
Speaking of Joseph, I'm so glad he didn't have a lace front. As a braided brother and I am, I appreciated him getting braids. I was like, oh.
And showing his mama do it, that's what I love the most. Seeing mama do it, okay? Sticking to the roots. And when they were playing like the bongo, I was like, okay, finally, right? Because remember, he had more than one talent.
He did.
He got that Medal of Honor because not only could he play the violin better than anybody else in all of Paris, he also could fence. He was good at fencing too. Yeah, that's what got him that Medal of Honor.
I don't want to say this, but he was like the ultimate Negro.
Yes, he was.
I don't want to say that, but he was like the ultimate Negro. But the thing that I appreciated from him was the Black excellence. Like, yes, the father was like, hey, everything you do, you need to be excellent. But he really was excellent. And I think as time has gone forward and people are finding out about Joseph in real life, we're starting to see that, hey, Black excellence was also in violin and composure. And so that's just another thing that we've been killing it with.
We ain't only killing the sports game, we killing every game, right?
I ain't seen no Negro do this.
Boom. In the beginning, in the movie, he outdid Mozart at Mozart's game. He had Mozart asking, he had him doing the Conor McGregor. Who the fuck is that guy?
So that was dope.
That was dope as heck in the beginning of the movie. That first scene going back and forth. You talking about the best of all time. So a lot of people, Mozart versus the best in our game. Joseph.
He got smoked.
And he got smoked.
So I'm going to guess this movie isn't going to get high ratings. Most Black movies don't. And that's just not us being racist. That's just, it is what it is. Not many people are going to go see it too, because not many people want to see that. But I think this movie is something we need to see as Black people. We need to see it.
Yes.
Because we always uplift the sports and and all the other stuff, the music, the rapping, but we don't uplift the composure. I mean, opera and violin play, all of that. We need
the Marian Andersons.
Yes, shift more focus on that.
Yes. So, the Ma Rainey's. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, if you have time out of your busy schedule to go see a movie this weekend, what do we recommend for them?
The Chevalier. I messed the name up.
It's all good, brother. It's all good. What is your rating for this movie?
I give it a 7.5. I give it a 7.5.
I'm gonna go a solid 8. It was very, very good. Like I said, like I just recommend for everyone, not only Black people. I recommend for any race of ethnicity to go see this movie. It's a good watch because I think it's an uplifting movie for anybody.
And I would have gave it an 8, but it's just like the few things was just like, they sparing him with his hands. Some parts I was like, there's no way they would have let a Black brother live like this. Like there's no way. I let it go.
It's based off a true story though. So.
Based off a true story. So, but with that said, that say was real.
That say was real, y'all. Go see it.